Welcome, everyone. I'm Chase Carrington, and welcome to Chase the Sun Hands On Bible Study. So, if you're new here, what I do is I study a Bible passage. I have a once a month Bible study, and I usually select the passage I'm studying for that month. And right now, we're going through John. So, I've been taking these different passages, just going through and studying them in front of your this live stream here today, so I can show you what I do, and hopefully we'll all gain a better understanding of the passages studied through what we do here today. Also, hopefully you'll be able to see how I study and hopefully learn how to better study and understand the Bible for yourself. Today I'm experimenting my program, Logos Bible Software, Logos I think. Greek pronunciation could be a little weird. Logos Bible Software has this interesting little feature called workflows. What it does is it takes you step by step through a study workflow, and it gives you just kind of these fill-in text boxes. It shows you different resources, and it lays that out all for you. So today, I'm going to try using the basic Bible study workflow for this passage, and we'll see how it works out. I'm curious to see how it lines up with my normal workflow I've imposed myself of studying the Bible. Hopefully this will be more intuitive and streamlined and will keep me on track so I'm not rambling or losing, time by chasing a rabbit trail here or there. While those have their places and I do enjoy them, let's see if we can keep it more streamlined by using this feature. So let's start here. As you see, I do have a couple different windows open. And you should be able to see most of what I have here. I try to make the UI pretty large. I think I had it very large when I was originally doing this, but here we go. So first thing in the workflow here says read your passage. Read your passage several times in your preferred Bible version. As you read, use the highlighting tool to mark words, ideas that draw your attention. And you could highlight things you want to look up later, or key phrases or sentences that seem important for the theme or main idea of the passage. That sounds good. And then it has a little text box we'll fill out after we read it. So actually, yeah, it's just going to take me to this other window here. Now, before I go in, let's consider this. We're going to do a little highlighting, but what should the different things mean? Honestly, I don't use multiple colors that often. I usually just mark red or yellow for important. And then usually I mark green for words of Jesus for, obvious reasons for most translations. You have this red here. Green just makes more sense. It's hard to see when you highlight in red. So let's see. What should we do? I think I'll just do a simple highlighter, and I should be able to discern in the moment the things I want to draw attention to. So let's start by reading through the passage, and this is a rather large one. This is the story of the woman at the well, Jesus and the woman from Samaria. And I actually have not read through it in a bit, so I'm kind of fresh to this passage myself. I mean, I've read it before, of course, but I haven't, not recently. So I'm kind of fresh to the passage. Like you are, we're just seeing this, and let's read through it. Now when Jesus learned that the Pharisees had heard that Jesus was making and baptizing more disciples than John, although Jesus himself did not baptize, but only his disciples, he left Judah and departed again for Galilee, and he had to pass through Samaria. So he came to a town of Samaria called Sychar. I feel like that's going to be something worth looking up in a bit. Oh, wait. Did it highlight? No, yeah, it did. I want to track for the passage, but for new viewers, just warning, my program can get really wonky because I'm running the streaming, and the program uses up so much power from my computer, it often can lag. So let's start at the beginning of this verse again. So he came to a town of Samaria called Sychar, near the field that Jacob had given to his son Joseph. Jacob's well was there. So Jesus, wearied as he was from his journey, was sitting beside the well. It was about the 6th hour. I think this is also something worth looking up. Sometime today. Come on. Nah, hold up. There we go. A woman from Samaria came to draw water. Jesus said to her, "Give me a drink," for his disciples had gone away into the city to buy food. The Samaritan woman said to him, "How is it that you, a Jew, ask for a drink from me, a woman of Samaria?" For Jews have no dealings with Samaritans. Now, I think this is important. We'll have to figure that out. Why is that the case? I'm curious to go in depth on that myself. Jesus answered Jesus answered her, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is that is saying to you, 'Give me a drink,' you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." The woman said to him, "Sir, you have nothing to draw water with, and the well is deep. Where do you get that living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob? He gave us the well and drank from it himself, as did his sons and his livestock." Jesus said to her, "Everyone who drinks of this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks of the water that I will give him will never be thirsty again." The water that I will give him will become in him a spring of water, welling up to eternal life. The woman said to him, "Sir, give me this water, so I will not be thirsty or have to come here and draw water." So that's interesting. We'll talk about that in a bit, but I think that's her response. It's a very interesting response. Jesus said to her, "Go, call your husband and come here." The woman answered him, "I have no husband." Jesus said to her, "You are right in saying, 'I have no husband,' for you have 5 husbands, and the one you now have is not your husband. What you have said is true." The woman said to him, "Sir, I perceive that you are a prophet. Our fathers worshipped on this mountain." I think this is also worth highlighting. Hold on. Sometime today, Logos. There we go. "Our fathers worshipped on this mountain, but you say that in Jerusalem is the place where people ought to worship." Jesus said to her, "Woman, believe me, the hour is coming when neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem will you worship the Father." I think this is also significant in that I think that really is important. I think that really ties things together. But we'll talk about that again once we're done reading. Let's get through the passage. We're not even halfway through. We got a ways. "You worship what you do not know. We worship what we know, for salvation is from the Jews. But the hour is coming and is here." Excuse me. The hour is coming and is now here, when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth. That looks significant as well. "For the Father is seeking such people to worship him." Now, this is quite interesting as well. God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. The woman said to him, I know that Messiah is coming, he who is called Christ. When he comes, he will tell us all things. Jesus said to her, I who speak to you am he. What a reveal. That is... I like these just short phrases from Jesus in this passage. It's amazing, the precision. Just then his disciples came back. They marveled that he was talking with a woman. But no one said, What do you seek? Or why are you talking with her? So the woman left her water jar and went away into the town and said to the people, Come see a man who told me all that I ever did. Can this be the Christ? Oh, oops. That looks significant as well. Sometime today. They went out of the town and were coming to him. Meanwhile, the disciples were urging him, saying, Rabbi, eat. But he said to them, I have food to eat that you do not know about. I'm trying to decide. I think this is all one cohesive lesson and story here. And I think we will... I think we will have to study it all together. Meanwhile, the disciples were urging him, Rabbi, eat. But he said to them, I have food to eat that you do not know about. So the disciples said to one another, Has anyone brought him something to eat? Jesus said to them, My food is to do the will of him who sent me and accomplished his work. I think this is a very significant passage here. Do you not say there is yet 4 months, then comes the harvest? Look, I tell you, lift up your eyes and see that the fields are white for harvest. Already the one who reaps is receiving wages and gathering fruit for eternal life, so that the sower and reaper may rejoice together. For here the saying holds true. One sows, another reaps. I sent you to reap that for which you did not labor. Others have labored, and you have entered into their labor. I think this saying here is probably something we will want to look into. Yet again, I pressed the wrong thing. Okay, come on. Actually, let me see if there's a key command for, I don't see a key command. I was hoping, because if there's a key command for it, that would be nice. Actually, I think the key commands aren't even there. Or let's see. Help program settings. Let me check this real quick, guys. Because it might work more efficiently if I check for a command of some sort. I don't know. It's just a little bit frozen, guys. Don't worry. Let's see. I don't know why I can't highlight from here. Well, let's just wait on and see if here we go. Okay. Back on track. Many Samaritans from that town believe in him because of the woman's testimony. He told me all that I ever did. So when the Samaritans came to him, they asked him to stay with them, and he stayed there 2 days. And many more believed because of his word. They said to the woman, "It is no longer because of what you said that we believe, for we have heard for ourselves. And we know that this is indeed the Savior of the world." After the 2 days he departed for Galilee, for Jesus himself had testified that a prophet has no honor in his own hometown. So when he came to Galilee, the Galileans welcomed him, having seen all that he had done in Jerusalem at the feast, for they too had gone to the feast. So that's definitely worth looking up. And I think this is interesting. And I'm going to highlight that as well. Okay. We have completed this passage here. And it is a large passage. So we're going to really have to break it up when studying it. But let's go back to the workflow and see what happens. I'm curious to see how this works. I've only kind of tried it. Okay. Questions or insights do you have about this passage? Take note of anything in the text that is confusing, surprising, challenging, or hard to understand. Record your questions here and keep them in mind as you explore the passage further. Well, so my question is probably, why did she think he was the Messiah? Honestly, it's probably a silly question, but I think it's important to put down, so I just keep that in mind, because I think it's something that is worth answering. And then I think another question that popped up is, I don't know, but as for insights, one thing that is mentioned that I think it's kind of a smaller theme, especially later in the middle of the passage when the disciples arrive, and there's definitely a theme of unity, not really unity, but let me just check back there real quick. Let me see if I can see it real quick. Here we go. That ultimately, what Jesus is giving belongs to all people, not at a certain location. And I think that this whole passage is definitely a breaking down of barriers. He is talking to a woman, which during those times was not the norm, at the very least, for a learned religious teacher to talk to a woman in discussion like this. But again, that's something I might want to research further and see exactly what the norms were. But even then, she's also a Samaritan, which, of course, is referenced in the passage. But again, another thing I'd like to go into further study, they weren't liked. The Jews did not like the Samaritans. And if my memory serves me correctly, I believe it's because they're from the northern kingdom, or what remained of the northern kingdom of Israel. But I could be wrong on that. But I'm pretty sure that's the source of the Samaritans. They were what used to be the northern kingdom of Israel. And that's why they're not liked by their Jewish brethren. See, why did she think he was the Messiah? And that's a question that might be easy to answer. I would say definitely. I think what Jesus is offering transcends demographics. I think that's the best way to word it. You can see there's obviously a theme where he's talking to a Samaritan woman, giving her the gospel, telling about the water of life. That is a statement right there. And then you have this discussion again, where you have this discussion right here where it's talking about where are they going to worship, and he says neither this Mount of Jerusalem, because that was their main division. Was the Samaritans worshipped on the mountain, and then the Jews worshipped in Jerusalem. Then you also have this discussion from the disciples where they're astonished. Wait, let's see. Okay, no, it's right here. The woman said to him, I know the Messiah is coming. Okay, so here we go. Just then his disciples came back. They marveled that he was talking with a woman. But no one said, what do you seek, or why are you talking with her? And this might be presumptuous, and on the face of it, I would say Jesus is definitely making a statement by doing this. Of course, that's not the only reason for his conversation here. And this statement is well received, because it says here, they marveled, but it doesn't appear to be negative, because they didn't, or at the very least, they didn't react negatively. It says that, but no one said, what do you seek? Or why are you talking with her? They weren't rude, well, what we would consider rude today, and in asking, why are you talking to a woman? Why are you doing this? Why are you talking to her? What happened? But no, he just his disciples take it well enough, as this verse describes it. And it's interesting. And then you have this kind of side story here about the disciples urging him to eat. And then you see, and it's interesting. It's almost interesting. This is a very positive passage, because Jesus, who again was cast out from Galilee, he was even welcome there. It's almost like there's a theme of returning and being accepted. I hate to use the generic term acceptance, but it seems that this is what is happening in this passage. You have, again, a Samaritan woman, talking to Jesus, having a very civil discussion. And then you have these disciples seeing this, being astonished by it, but not reacting negatively, and somewhat coming to terms to it. That's not commented on here, but they are most likely coming to terms to it to some degree. And then you have down here this little footnote at the bottom mentioning that Jesus is being accepted back into his hometown. See, there is a theme of acceptance. I really hate using a term, and if I think of a better one, I'll change it. I really think that's tossed around a little too much. But the idea that people are, maybe forgiveness or reconciliation might be a better term, but that's the best I could think of for now. that really there's a theme of people being accepted among groups that normally aren't. So Jesus, who was cast out, he's brought back to Galilee. And not to mention, that's another thing. Another thing I forgot. I just realized. We also have the woman is also being accepted among her own people. You can see that. Let's see. Well, you can see that they believed in him because of the woman's testimony. He told me all I ever did. And they were accepted her account. Now, of course, it doesn't appear she was a woman of good reputation, but they still accepted her account and decided to listen to her. I don't know. It's just a thought. It's just something that popped up in this passage I think was rather interesting. And then, of course, we have the living water. Which is, of course, the important message of this passage. Probably the most famous part of this passage as well. Now, let's see. There's a theme of sense. I think that's most of what I have. Questions, let's see, insights, take note of any text that is confusing, surprising, challenging. Let's see, challenging. Let's see if there's anything challenging. Huh. Let's see, can this be the Christ? For the Father is seeking worship. I'm just trying to see if there's any challenging passages. Samaritans from the town. Let's see, it's no longer Jubilee. After 2 days, he departed for Galilee. I don't know if anything comes up. I'm sure the workflow will allow it. So I think this is the best I have for now. My question: why does she think he was the Messiah? And I'm starting to see it now, just looking at the passage a couple times. But we'll come back to it. What Jesus is offering transcends demographics, which again is a big theme here. And then, of course, there is a theme of acceptance. And again, the term is not perfect. I just want to say there is a theme of acceptance, reconciliation. So let's continue. Let's see what this has now. Okay, read the passage in other translations. Reading the passage in more than one translation can improve the understanding. Differences in translations may indicate interpretation of the text is debated, or differences may reflect different approaches to the translation. Let's see, closed wording, and yeah. So let's press that button and see what we have. Okay, let me see what Bibles we should compare. So, wait, what? Why don't I have, here we go, CSB. Yeah, NASB for sure. Should I include the KJV? I'm just gonna leave the KJV out for this one. Okay, here we go. Now let's compare. So this is ESV. This is Some sort of paragraph Bible. I'm not super familiar with this particular resource. Edited, let's see, carefully edited and revised. Oh, edited revision of the King James Version text originally published. This version presents the text in paragraph form. Poetry is formatted in poetic line division and also includes the Apocrypha Scrivener's revisions are thoroughly documented, including multiple appendices, I give up, which include translation notes and instances of departure from the original KJV text. Okay, this is close to the KJV. Why not? Let's put it in here. We'll just keep in mind that I'm not super familiar with this translation, so we're not going to put too much weight on it. Excuse me, I'm just adjusting my mic. So let's see. Now, when Jesus learned... Okay, that's ESV, so we already read that. When therefore Jesus knew about how the Pharisees had heard the baptisms that Jesus made and baptized more disciples than John. Actually, let's see what is more... I just realized there's actually something a little more useful. I'm trying to remember what it was called. There's so many tools in this app. Sometimes let's see. Passage analysis? No. Okay, I'm trying to remember what it was. What was it? It was so cool. So let me check. I see something real quick. I think it was underneath the inductive Bible study. Let's check this real quick. Because, yeah, I remember there's a really cool tool that showed you exactly the changes. Let's see. The passage multiple versions. Here we go. Compare periscopes. Oh, great. This glitch. What? Oh, it moves over here. Okay, so if we look here. Oh, yeah, this was cool. So it shows you how the different passages change. So for the ESV, it considers this whole area to be the story, but it's more divided up in the NASB. Yeah, the NASB does divide up this passage quite a bit to a couple different stories. And the LEB changed that a little bit too. I'm trying to remember, was there actually a comparison? Okay, word tree. Ooh, what's this? Let's see, percent version river. Okay, what is... Ooh. Okay, minimum, maximum. What does this mean? Oh, wait. Is this the amount of... Let's see if I can get some help with this. This is cool. Oh, okay. I assume this shows how close they are together, but more forever. Let's see. I'm gonna have to learn more about these features. But this is rather cool. Whatever it's whatever it's showing. Version river. This is... I just knew what that number meant. I'll look into this after the stream ends. That is curious. That is a curious feature. Okay, let's go back to the... let's get back on task. You know what I might... What is this? Oh, okay, there we go. This will make things a lot easier. Show you all the differences. Okay, so this one is the primary. So this is what we're judging all the others off of. So although Jesus himself did not baptize, but only his disciples, he left Judah to depart again for Galilee. 0% difference, of course. Let's just see what's really different. So let's see. This one says though, but that's really pretty close to although. Now this we've kind of already studied, so I'm not going to go too in depth on this one. Yeah, those are all small. Okay, that's just a capitalization. Yeah. Went to party. This is all pretty small differences. Okay, simple. Yeah, not seeing too much of a change. Now I could just skim these and see which verse had the most change. I might do that. So NASB, he came. So he came to a city near a parcel of ground. That Jacob gave to his son Joseph. Let's see, 38, 45. Okay, let's see. There cometh a woman of Samaria. Give me to drink. Give me a drink. Huh. His disciples were gone away because his disciples had gone to town to buy food. Yeah, it's definitely. I'm pretty sure. Oh, wait, that's just. NASB does include that. Oh, it does say buy meat. Okay, I missed that. That's on me. So all of them do say that. 21 difference. So do not associate, have no dealings. Since I am a Samaritan, Jews have no dealings. Jesus, let's see what. Jesus answered her, if you knew. Let's see, there's not much difference between these. Yeah, this one's really going to be different just because it's a. So I might actually remove this resource. Because it's going to be different language because it's more of a King James. So actually I'm just going to focus on these three here. This one involves a little more idea. It's not a perfect word for word, but it's kind of a word for word. This one's as accurate as you can get. NASB is known for being quite accurate. The NASB is just the one I favor. It's supposed to be pretty accurate word for word. It's just what I usually read. So let's see if there's much difference between these three, because at least the language is pretty much the same. Here we go. Now what do we have here? Sir, said the woman. Okay. Oh, okay. That's a mistake. It's definitely not meant to be that. Let's see. You. See, you aren't greater than our father Jacob, are you? You're not greater than our father Jacob, are you? It's interesting that this is present in both of these translations. Let's see. You are not greater than our father Jacob. But it's not present here. I think that's something worth highlighting, possibly. Let's see, can I highlight in this? Oh, what does this do? Oh, that's so much easier. Oh, wait. Oh. So I can actually see what changes. Oh, you need to look at the original. see. Jesus answered me and said to her, everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again. But whoever drinks from the water that I will give him will never get thirsty. Yeah, I'm gonna start just. Oh, here we go. 60. Wait, where did it go? Here we go. 61%. I'm gonna probably start skimming and just look for the difference numbers. It looks like mostly because it's just been restructured, but let's take a look. It's not much difference from NASB and ESV. Woman said, no, the woman answered him. Woman answered and said, so you are right in saying, instead it's have correctly said, for you have 5 husbands. Let's see. Very close. All of these are pretty close on that one. 39 here. Let's see. These are, yeah, this one's just been restructured. That's why it thinks it's so different. Fathers worshipped on this mountain. Yeah, it says men here. It says people here. That's curious. So Jesus said to her. Yeah, I'm not seeing much here, honestly, so I'm just going to continue going through. I'm really going to start skimming a little faster. Look at these difference numbers. Let's see, 42%. Just then, okay, at this point, came back, they marveled. They were amazed that he was talking. He had been speaking with a woman, yet no one said, "What do you seek, or why do you speak with her?" Let's remove this for a second. Let's see. Instead of saying, "What do you want?" and "Why are you talking with her?" What do you want? Let's see. I'm still not seeing that many differences. Listen to what I'm telling you. Open your eyes and look at the fields because they're ready for harvest. I sent you to reap what you didn't labor for. So when the Samaritans came to him, they asked him to stay with them, and he stayed with them 2 days. Okay, I'm just going to look for a couple more differences. Okay, oh, whoops, we overwent. We to Galilee during the festival, and that's something we'll talk about that kind of brings things full circle. So see, were there really any observations besides all these being pretty good translations? I didn't see much. Let me think. Nah, I just, there's not much I could discern really. From this translation, mess around with the translations. So I'm just gonna continue on that one. Okay, now this is interesting. Identify people in your passage. Most passages include reference to people and other intelligent living beings. Here we want to identify the people mentioned in the passage and explore the role they play. You can understand your passage better if you make note of all the people involved, including individuals and groups and their roles in this event. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Show all. Oh boy. It's Gonna be a lot of people. It's a lot of loading circles. Oh, or is that just information? Disciples, Jesus. Now here's what I want to learn about. And that is definitely who are the Samaritans. I'm just gonna pop this out. There we go. I don't know how I can get rid of this. Let's see. Nope, still gonna load. Okay, let's start with the key. Wait. Okay, here we go. I was wondering what was going on there. Let's start with the key member here, the Samaritan woman. Well, let's see what this is. Atlas. Wait, come on. What's going on? Load. Like I've been saying all night. Sometime today. Okay, Greek. So, of course, she's never really identified by name. So, really, she's only referred to as woman. Okay. Here we go. So, let's see if we can. We're not going to get this to work. Let's. Oh, no. Now it froze. Oh, there we go. First, let's figure out about this Samaria region. I'm curious about this. Let's check this dictionary. Okay, Samaria. In the Bible, Samaria refers to both a city and a geographic region within the Central Highlands. The city sits over 400 feet above sea level. I don't know. Did I know that it was a city? I feel like I didn't know that. Well, what a Bible whiz I am. The city sits over 400 feet above sea level and offered easy access to major travel routes in the Jezreel Valley, particularly the Via Maris, which connected Egypt and Syria, and other major highways that cut through the middle of Israel. However, Samaria lacked a significant water source. That's something worth noting. Samaria's history fall into three broad periods. So you know what, guys? I think I'm actually going to call it a night now. It's been fun studying and trying out the new version workflows. Lord willing, I'll be on sometime tomorrow. If not, Friday. I hope I get to hear from you then. If you're watching on the replay, thank you. Be sure to leave a like and a comment if you're watching live right now. Don't be afraid to share that replay once it's all over. Thank you so much for tuning in, whether live or on the replay. Be sure to subscribe, like the video. Check out some of my other videos. Most of my videos are not nearly as casual live streams like this. I have quite a few videos I put hours into. The one that's of interest right now to a lot of people is, well, it was last month. It was my video on the 4 types of Greek love in the Bible. It was a big deal for Valentine's Day, so a lot of people were watching it. Another video I can recommend, one of my favorites, is my study that answers the question why Moses did not enter the Promised Land. And there's a couple others as well, so be sure to check out the rest of my channel, and I hope you enjoy those. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Chase Carrington. God bless and good night, and chase the sun.